when I think about cybersecurity, somewhat security, I'm thinking about this big, strong
You
looking
see?
guy standing in front of me and
Well,
like, don't do that, don't do
yeah,
this. But then to see
see?
a female, like you said, in there and she don't do that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's actually the also, let's say, another side, because that's exactly, you see. So cybersecurity immediately, whoa, body card, whatever,
yeah,
black glasses, this from the movies, right? From the
right,
movies.
yeah,
And then comes another challenge, which actually many women, and I also was facing that, because when female comes, then
hmm
people think, do you really know the topic? This kind of things, right? So you're a
hmm
woman. Can you, what can you tell me about cybersecurity? So this is a, let's say, a side effect a bit,
hmm
so that it's not given by default, because still people look from what they know. And
right,
they always have, if they have cybersecurity and image, they expect the big man entering the room and
hmm
giving them instructions, do or don't do the things, instead of, for example, me as a female entering and giving certain advices. So it means that you also need to earn this trust.
hmm
You also need to, I can say, proof that you're able to do that.
right,
Yeah, especially in the male environment, because I can tell you, I work mostly in the male environment. So I don't have any female leaders on my level doing the cybersecurity. Yeah. So,
hmm
and that's exactly the challenge, that you have to be tough. You have to show that you're able to do that, and means that you need, as a woman, I would say, unfortunately, still today, do some extra steps just to prove that you are also good, the same as the man who is next to you. Yeah, actually. So that's the thing that you should not underestimate, but
hmm
you have to be ready for that. I hope, as I said, in 20 years, where my daughters will be in the workforce, it will change, of course, but nowadays it's still the case. So, and I went through that, and I went
hmm
through all these things.
yeah. Okay. And that's why we have you on the program too, to also, share those experiences and those journey with that. Now, you mentioned something, you talk a little bit with cybersecurity and how some of the other developing, countries are not picking up, especially Africa. I always think that Africa is in a unique position because they don't have to go through the pitfalls. The other countries, have started some errors, and so Africa is just okay, just adapt the one that is working. You don't have to change, reinvent the wheel, so to speak. But it still is a challenge to Africa when it comes to technology. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mentioned previously. You guys in quite a unique probably position, because you can already take those low hanging fruits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just looking similar like Asia is doing right now. They're looking in US, they're looking in Europe, and they're just doing it smarter, for example. And Africa has even more advantage, because you can do it even smarter. So I am confident that technological development will be even faster. But from another hand side, I think what probably the challenge what Africa will face is the knowledge, because
Mm.
you need to bring the people, the experts, to educate society. And I guess this is also one of the target of your podcast as well, to give certain knowledge, right?
Right.
To bring in from people from different parts of the world, and also put some thought, and to give some food for thinking to the community.
Absolutely.
And I think that will be the biggest challenge: find the people who knows the topic, who is willing to educate society, and most important, again, I think, to educate the kids, the future generation of the things, because they all get this, but they don't know what to do with this, yeah, in the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess on that moment, we really need to reach out more international community, not only people who in Africa already, but who is willing to go there, to spend time, to educate. I'm not saying just to move there completely, but to say, okay, if we have certain activities right there
Mm-hmm.
with the government, with a non-private sector or private sector as well, to reach out to those experts who wants to make the impact and to support society to grow, to develop those expertises there in the market for the local people. For sure there will be somebody who are super knowledgeable and who will get all this knowledge, and then already it will be like a domino effect, then they will start to spread across the whole regions in Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I think, for me, at least what I see would be the challenge now, to boost those knowledge and to bring
Mm-hmm.
the right people to make it viral in the whole country.
Yes, absolutely. And staying on that note, you know, technology is something that's always evolving. You know, people being creative. And I mean, with mine, sometimes I make my trips, back to Liberia, and you see some of the creativity that people are that are doing. But it has to, of course, it comes from the exposure. You know, if you're exposed to something, you become more creative. And I'm thinking that's one of the point that I think the industrial world are probably missing. You know, because sometimes you want to take in there what you think is working for you, as opposed to get there, give those the opportunity, the tools there to create something that will work for them because they're more inclined to, the challenges and things like that are going on, in their environment, in their neighborhood. They may come up with a solution,
Yeah.
So, and that's why I always think with the internet. The
Hmm.
internet, if it's accessible there, it would create a lot of opportunity for some of the young ones that coming up because they do have some mindset in that. Okay, so Germany. Okay,
Germany.
go ahead.
If I just want to, because that's, I think, very, very important.
Hmm.
Because African community, as I said, we also have a lot of business there in Africa. What I see, you have a lot of young generation, and people are hungry. I see people are
Yes.
hungry for knowledge. People want to learn. They want, as you said, they are creative because it's different mindset. They
Hmm.
want to do the new things. So you don't need to push them. You don't need to motivate them. Say, come on, let's do startup. Let's whatever, do something together. They want to do it naturally because they want themselves to develop and they want their country to develop. And I think this is super great asset, which the global community needs to think how to use it even more and give exactly those passionate and young and motivated people opportunity to grow and to learn. Yeah, and as I said, so if I can support, I mean, if anybody in our community can support that, we have to do that. We have to support this young generation because that's unique asset that we have in Africa, honestly. And not, I don't know any country of the world like that, frankly speaking. People
Yeah.
who are hungry for knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.